Hey, what's up? Cindy here of cindyharveyonline.com. Thanks so much for joining me today. And just in case we haven't met, I'll tell you a little bit about who I am and what I do. So I am a career and leadership coach, and mainly my focus is on helping experienced women who have corporate careers and they've built successful corporate careers, but along the way they've landed on what I call a professional plateau, and they've become overlooked for promotions. They hesitate to sell themselves, and I teach them how to build really powerful professional brands so that they can confidently sell themselves, with really the ultimate goal of landing high impact leadership roles. So once again, thanks for tuning in. And so for today, I want to talk to you about a very common issue that all of my clients come to me with this exact same problem, and I take them through the exact same solution. So let me walk you through what that is. So when a new client comes to work with me, they often start off by saying things like, Cindy, I know I've got so much more to contribute, but I just don't feel in control of the what or the how or where my next career move is going to take. Or they'll say, my skills are just getting stale and stagnant while I'm here waiting for the next opportunity for my shot at a bigger role. Or I just can't get an opportunity to move up in my current organization. Or they'll say, I get conflicting messages about just how great I am, but my career progression just doesn't reflect what they're telling me. And let me tell you this, without fail, I have the exact same conversation with each of them, and I teach them the exact same lesson. Now, here's the thing that I want you to know. So what they think is going on isn't actually what's happening. What they think is that the company is just doing them wrong, doing them dirty. They think that the leadership has just become blind to how much work they actually do and how much value they actually contribute, and the leadership just doesn't see it. Or they might also be thinking that a new resume and a shiny new professional brand will make all of these problems go away. And while there may be some truth to these experiences, or some of these experiences may feel real, there really is a much, much bigger truth that's actually at play. The reality of it is that what's happened is that they've developed some habits that keep them incredibly safe and incredibly comfortable. Now, in my work with these clients, I've identified 7 of these habits. So I'm just going to talk you through each one of them quickly. So the first habit that I've seen consistently is that they have a habit of letting their work speak for itself. They don't want to be too much. They don't want to brag. So they work really hard, create results, and they let their work speak for itself. That's habit number 1. Habit number 2 is that they have a tendency to overlook their own desires and their own ambitions for years. They stuff that under the rug, even beyond years, usually for decades, for many years in their career. They just overlook their career goals and their career ambitions. Number 3 is that they have a habit of not letting themselves dream too big, just in case it doesn't work out. They don't want to end up in a place of disappointment. So they put a ceiling or a cap on what they see for themselves and what vision they have for their future career. Number 4 is that they have a habit of not asking for executive sponsorship and executive mentors who can speak on their behalf when they're not in the decision-making room. Number 5 is they have a habit of being a lone wolf and thinking that their job is to figure everything out on their own. They don't ask for help, which leads into the next habit, number 6, is that they have a habit of not letting the right people know that they're struggling and they need help. So number 5 and number 6 work together, where they think that, they need to solve the problem on their own, and then they just don't ask for help. And number 7 is that they have a habit of what I call intellectualizing their problems rather than listening to their intuition and trusting their gut. They trust their brain instead of trusting their gut and their intuition. Now, I could go on with some of these habits, but these are 7 of the most common ones. Now, here's the point that I really want you to get. Their career did not stall and get stagnant. Their career did not stall and get stagnant by accident. They've landed on a career plateau through a series of choices and a series of decisions that they've made over time, over those years, over those decades that I mentioned a moment ago. So these habits then have now turned into mostly unconscious ways of keeping themselves safe and keeping themselves small. And then the consequence of that is that they're creating the exact opposite version of a career from what they truly want, which is a career that's energizing and that's full of real, tangible impact. So they've created the exact situation that they're in right now. Okay, the situation that they're in is one that they themselves have created through making these series of decisions and choices based on these habits. Now, when we're having this conversation, it's usually in these moments that I can see their light bulb going on. They finally get it. They finally see that they've been in control all along. Again, making these choices and these decisions. They've been in control and they've created what they have. It's almost like they've been directing, their own movie, but reading someone else's script, with blinders on. And the truth be told is that, again, in these moments of these coaching conversations with the clients that I work with, is that it brings up all the feels, when they start to realize how much of an impact they've had on their own situation. They feel disappointment. They feel sadness in a lot of cases. And they're asking themselves, how could I actually let this happen? Why didn't I see this? But there's also some good news to the story that I share with them too. And that good news is that if they've created their current situation, they can also create something completely new. And that something that they can create next can be that thing that they actually desire, that version of their career that feels energizing, that lights them up, that allows them to get to that next level of promotion, to have that director title, beyond the director title, to do work that they get recognized for because it makes such an impact on the business and on the organization. They get to create something that feels expansive and that is layered with really clear intentions for where they want to take their career next. And all they need now is a series of new habits, new ways of thinking, new ways of making decisions. And once those things are set, those new habits are set and new ways of thinking are rooted, the rest of the road for their career really becomes that much easier to navigate. And one thing that I always say is that getting promoted is an inside job. And this is exactly what I mean when I say that. Getting promoted really starts with you. So there you go. That's one of the lessons and coaching conversations that I have really often with clients. And now I'd love to hear from you. So if you resonated with any of the 7 habits that I shared earlier, or if just being in this kind of situation kind of brings this to light and you hadn't really seen before that you personally play a role in creating the situation that you have, I'd love to hear what resonated the most with you from listening to today's episode. So leave a comment, let me know, and I'd love to follow up with you afterwards. Thanks so much for listening.